Now that summer is coming around, I feel a lot of this like 2000s summer nostalgia, especially with like H2o. And I did do a style analysis last year of the 4 main girls, but today I want to do a video of kind of like building Rikki's wardrobe. Some of these pieces are going to be direct pulls from her looks, like kind of recreating the looks from the show, whereas others are just things that I think you would find in her closet. I would say the main colors from her color palette are obviously red. That is like her signature color, and I am not a huge fan of red, so I don't have a lot of red in my closet, but that for sure is like her color. Also army green, black, gray, and the occasional brown kind of like sneaks their way in. And there obviously is some like exceptions if you look at the show as a whole where she has dressed outside of that main color palette, but those are the main colors that I personally would be on the lookout to recreate her style the most accurately. Obviously, since it was filmed in the 2000s, I would say to go to the thrift store and find vintage pieces. I personally do thrift bundles. I have posted about that before, but there's also a lot of modern pieces right now that really emulate that style because Y2K is very in. With the spring and summer, obviously we think of like really bright colors and florals. And I feel like her wardrobe specifically is testament that you don't have to go that route if that is not your vibe. Out of the 4 girls, I feel like Rikki's is just the easiest to recreate because I really do see it as almost like a capsule wardrobe. It's like the same pieces, different fonts. For example, her cargos.
Rikki's signature look is cargo pants and a red top. So much so that we have a whole compilation of just this look.
Cargos are like Rikki's staple, and she has them in all different variations. Right now I have the pants version. These are from Hollister and I got these back in 2021. So I believe the exact ones are not in stock, but they do have a lot of similar ones right now. Literally just got these from Hollister not too long ago, and they are a different variation. They are these like little capris, and I would say the capris are like especially 2000s, and I've been seeing a lot of that coming around too. It's very trendy right now, and I like these ones with the ties because you can kind of adjust the length a little bit. Also, like I said, has cargo shorts. I got these from Urban, I think also around 2021. And then you can't go wrong with a cargo skirt. So even though her style is a little bit more, I guess, tomboy compared to the other girls, she still has a lot of like feminine pieces, and she does wear a lot of skirts. I actually thrifted this one. It's a thrift flip. So this one is from White House Black Market. It used to look like this, and I made it into a mini. Her skirts actually have a lot of pleats. You can even see it with the cargo skirt from the show. It has this like pleated ruffly details as well as just like some lace trim on the bottom. Keeping that in mind, I pulled these 2 pieces as things that I think she would wear. This one also thrifted, it's from Zara, and it has a built-in belt right here to give it a little bit more edge. I do have a studded belt on today because I think this is just something that she would wear. Even though, again, we don't really see it in the show, but I just feel like it really fits into her style of that sort of kind of like angsty teen. It also has this sort of like plaid detailing, and I feel like that print specifically, like a little bit kind of like punk. I could see Rikki having this in her closet. It has her signature color red and black. She does wear red skirts on the show, but hers is a little bit more plain than this one specifically. I love this pleated mini skirt. I like it because it's actually low rise and it has built-in shorts. I got this one actually from Amazon, and I actually have this one in like multiple colorways because I just really love the fit of this one. Moving on to some other bottoms that you can wear. She does wear kind of like these like slacks throughout the show. I feel like she usually does capris. I don't have any capris, so I'm just going to be working with some standard like boot cut slacks, which I can also just see her wearing. Her style is pretty similar to that of like Kat Stratford, and I can definitely see Kat wearing this, so in turn I can see Rikki wearing it. These ones are pinstripe. These are thrifted and I believe vintage. The brand is To Be Clothing. Along with the gray slacks, I would say black would definitely be in her closet. These ones are also thrifted and they are also boot cut. That is like my favorite like silhouette of pants. And these are actually Banana Republic. Okay, so now that we covered what her bottoms would be, I'm gonna move on to tops. She wears a lot of tanks. I had to include a red one, of course. Rikki also wears a lot of stripes, so I thought this one would be something that would be in her closet. We have this little stripy cami, and this one is thrifted. It is J. Crew. And then, of course, a black cami. Again, that is just part of her color palette, and it's just a good wardrobe staple to have. This one specifically is from Hollister and it is reversible, which I love because you get 2 shirts for 1. The color that I could see her wearing is obviously gray. I have seen her wear also brown as well as like this kind of like mauve-y tank. One thing about the H2O girls and just like 2000 style in general is the like layered cami look. So if you do wear the tank top, I would suggest maybe layering another one underneath. The one I'm wearing right now is actually not a tank top, it's a little bralette, but it kind of gives that illusion. That is like another thing that you can do if you live somewhere where it's really warm and you don't feel like layering 2 tops. You can also just wear like a little bralette to give that look. But with the tank top, she also layers little button-ups over it. Another Rikki staple is a vest, and she also uses this to layer. Another way to layer those camis, I would say, especially for like transitional weather, would be to layer it with some Henleys. She does wear Henleys throughout the show, and she does occasionally wear brown as well as lots of stripes. So I thought this would be something that I could definitely see living in Rikki's closet. This one specifically is from Brandy. And then this next one is kind of inspired by this look. So it's not a Henley, but it's this little maroon hoodie that again you can layer the camis underneath. Another thing you can for sure find in Rikki's closet is like graphic tees. I admittedly don't have a lot of graphic tees, but there's a lot of cute ones on Brandy. I have this one. I've had this one for like years. It's kind of like a little bit of like a spooky Halloween vibe, but I could also see her maybe wearing like Ed Hardy, which is again very 2000s, so that's like a brand you can be on the lookout. I think of like Jane from Breaking Bad. She definitely sports that a lot. And then for another graphic that I have, this one is kind of giving more of that like 2000s style with this design, and this is actually from a small business. I found them on TikTok. It is Ellie Rose, but I really like this one. Kind of like mixes that style of just being a little bit more edgy. This is still very girly. You have the butterfly, the florals, and the bling. So I thought this would be perfect for Rikki's style. So she does wear a lot of camis, like I said, but she also wears like kind of like girlier tops. Like, I don't know, they're not just like your basic cami, but not necessarily quite a baby doll. I could picture her wearing something like this, even though it is a baby doll, because I just personally really love that silhouette. But I thought this color specifically was something that I could definitely see in her color palette. But she definitely does love that sort of like v-neck. And this one is thrifted. It's also from White House Black Market. And going off of that like v-neck style, like I said, I pulled these 2 pieces from my closet because I can definitely see her wearing something like this, and again layering a cami underneath. These are both from Brandy. Even though it's the summer, it can still get chilly. It does wear some like basic zip ups. This one is a striped one, directly inspired by this look from the show. I got this one from Ross a few years ago. The brand is Orange Kiss, and she also has like a brown zip up, I believe. So just like anything in her color palette I would include as like a zip up. For her hair and makeup, because she lives on the Golden Coast, and also I think they were literally like 15. Makeup is very fresh faced. I do believe I see a little bit of like a hint of peach for the eyeshadow if that's something you want to incorporate, but I just kept my makeup as my everyday makeup, just kind of something more on the neutral side. And for hair, she has wavy hair and bangs, so that coincided perfectly for this video. I would be lying if my Rikki styling video from last year didn't inspire me to get bangs. So they're not the exact same cut as her, but those clip-ins really kind of inspired me to just go for it. But she does wear braids, also does often sport a messy low bun as well as like 2 little space buns. And I don't see her do this necessarily on the show, but I can definitely see a sort of like spunky half up half down kind of fit that vibe as well. For accessories, obviously she has her H2o locket. I don't have it because I just don't see myself wearing it outside of these videos.
She is also wearing little beaded necklaces as well as stacked bracelets and a watch. For footwear, she wears the very coveted sneaker flats, as well as just plain old Converse, both low top and high top, and the occasional sandal, of course.
Okay, so that is the end of the video. I did try to name all the brands, the pieces that I showed, but I am going to also link them in my LTK. Let me know what character you would like to see next, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!